We'll start with Arthur Smith. I know you had mentioned a couple times the Steelers should be on the lookout for, a young guy, an up-and-comer. Does he in any way fit that mold for you? What do you think of the hiring?
He's very young thinking. I really like Arthur Smith. I think he got in some trouble in Atlanta, obviously, with how he used Bijan Robinson. And look, I think one of the things, there's two things about Arthur Smith that I think are really interesting. One, his players talk about how he likes to play positionless football. It's why when he was in Tennessee, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, he started playing Jonnu Smith, who's, maybe a 260-pound tight end in the backfield. And he had him, basically part-time being a running back. And so I think that's the one thing he's going to do. He's going to play all players all over the map, which I think is an interesting thing. The second thing is I believe that he's going to be a tight end's best friend, because he just believes that a tight end can do so many things that are hard to stop for a defense, especially an athletic tight end. So I would think Pat Freiermuth would be very happy with this hire. And then finally, I think I would say that he believes in, and I know this is going to sound elementary, he believes in doing what works. He's not going to try to force his philosophy. If he finds that Najee Harris is not good being used all over the map, he's not going to do it. And if he finds that Freiermuth is not Jonnu Smith, well, he's not going to force that. So I liked Arthur Smith. I really, really like him as an offensive mind. So I like the hire.
Peter, the only thing about me that troubles it is both Mike Tomlin and Art Rooney, too, said they wanted a guy that could, has had some background developing quarterbacks. Kenny Pickett. Is this the right guy to help Kenny Pickett?
Well, if you go back and look at the good fortune he had, I think probably Ryan Tannehill played pretty well under Arthur Smith. Now, obviously, the last couple of years, it hasn't worked out. Marcus Mariota mostly last year, and Desmond Ridder mostly this year. And both of those guys, I'm not saying those two guys got him fired, but they helped. They just are not quality NFL quarterbacks, and Smith was not able to develop them into that. And so I think the way I look at that is I think that's a valid concern, obviously a valid concern. But I think that you've got to give him a chance with this guy. And also, I would be with Kenny Pickett. Ron, I'd also be very surprised if they're not going to go out and get somebody. They have to. They can't go to training camp with Pickett, Mason Rudolph, and a sixth-round pick. I wouldn't anyway if I were them. If that's what they do, I wouldn't have a lot of faith that they were going to that they were going to be a great team next year.